Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Pamlico sounds will Baumgartner live versus studio.
Right. I mean, that's the mark of really enjoying what you're doing, and I'm so glad that you kind of explained that because one of the things that we get into in our conversations a lot, because we are often talking with artists whose primary medium is live music versus recorded. You know, the live piece of it is really
Right.
where they live. And so, one of the things that's always kind of fascinating to me, you know, as a fan, someone who's deeply embedded but not a musician, the difference, if any, between being in the studio. So, you know, you put out, is it The Funk's Not for Sale in 2019, right? You put out that album. So, from a recording perspective, like, is there anything you need to do to get that same energy, that same feeling you were just describing when you're recording? Is it harder to do or is it just different?
It's definitely harder to do in the studio. I mean,
Mhm.
and is one of the reasons that I really want to put out a live album. In fact, I think what we're going to do next is, in terms of the studio, is maybe just go in and release an A side, B side signal, and then focus on like, okay, where are we going to record our live album and who's going to record it and so on,
Mhm.
because we really
Yeah.
want to put out a live album. But in the studio, definitely, and there's uh, this should this is pretty much of a no brainer. There needs to be, and there always is, because we're just fun people and we love each other and have fun, no matter where we are, whether we're in the rehearsal studio or the recording studio, or hanging out with each other or whatever. Is there definitely needs to be that sense of fun in the studio too, and you can hear some of it on The Funk Is Not for Sale, like the beginning of the Low Get Down, where we all go, oh shit. Like we came up with that in the studio, and that was like, oh, that's gonna, and so, and then another thing is not overthinking it, and having an engineer slash producer um, who who is not too much of a busybody, and not too much of like, oh well, I think you should be doing this. Um, I think that's part of what made that a good album. I think we have a much better album in us now, partially due to the fact that we've got a different lineup than we had when we recorded that album. We've got an incredible lineup now. Um, some of the same people are still in the band. The guitarist Jimmy G is the same. Matt Wokalak, the trumpet player, is the same. Um, uh, but uh, basically, yes. And Gareth Chemish, the bassist, is still the same. But everybody else, the drummer, and now our percussionist Atato, and our other sax player besides myself, Eric Jordan,
Mhm.
um, and the female vocalists, none of them were on that album. That was Sarah Soraya now. So we definitely need to get something out with Kali and Jess and Asha, keyboardist, different keyboardist. Um, so, uh, but um, and there's, I think, personality wise too. What's going on with us now as compared to what we were in 2019? In 2019, there was a lot of good feeling in the band, kind of. But there were a couple people in the band who were not really feeding the happy love vibe
Mhm.
as much as they could have, or as much as
Yeah.
I wish they had.
Yeah.
Uh, that's in the past. The band right now, oh my God, we love each other so much. We have so much fun together. There's so much love in the band. And that definitely is going to come out in the studio. The guy who recorded that album also. I've got to give a shout out to him. He's really kind of unknown, but and that's partially, I think, by his own choice. His name's Dave Lyons, and he has a studio in Rollinsville called Schoolhouse, which actually is a giant schoolhouse. And what I loved about Dave, I've always loved about Dave, and I really especially loved about working with him on that album. He actually used to be the bass player in my band that I had before the Pamlico Sound. Is Dave doesn't, he doesn't, first of all, he doesn't have any ego. He's not, and that's when I work with a producer who's got an ego, I'm like, oh shit, I chose the wrong producer. Um, um, but he's not, he'll make some suggestions, but mostly what he's suggesting is be who you are, because who you are is fucking awesome. And also, he doesn't overthink shit. He actually told me when we finished the album, we had done the mix. I said, okay, well, now I got to go drop a couple thousand at a mastering facility. He said, why? The mix sounds great. You don't need to. And I was like, really? And he was like, no, really, if you've got a great mix, you take it to a mastering facility, they might actually give you a product after you've given them thousands of dollars. They might give you a product that doesn't sound as good as what you've got here. So when I decided to put it on vinyl, yeah, I had to go get it mastered for vinyl. But we did not master it for digital or CD.
Yeah, no, it is. And we've talked with some sound engineers, people kind of on all sides of the recording process. And to a person, they've almost all said that one of their biggest fears, I guess, or the thing that's top of mind is keeping the flavor, the authentic sound that was originating from the studio, whatever that is, and not changing that and being so careful about that. And that's something that I never would have thought about that could happen. But the awareness of that, I think, is very interesting.
Yeah. Another thing is being really well rehearsed so you don't do a bunch of takes. Because those takes take the shine off of you.
Right.
So Funk is Not For Sale. I don't think there were more than 4 takes on any of the parts on that. The vocals, the horns, the rhythm section, the solos, and I don't know if we ever. I don't think it was ever more than 4 takes on any of those, which also kept that freshness.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.